we're taking you around Fraser Island, solving the island's biggest mysteries. And today, we're solving the biggest one of them all. Fraser's freshwater lakes. Lakes might not seem very mysterious, but here, there's something very strange going on. Fraser is an island made of sand. Yep, no soil or dirt, just sand. Why doesn't the fresh water from the rain just sink right through the sand? Ranger Jared has the answers. And first up, we are travelling with him to famous Lake Mackenzie. Jared, beautiful Fraser Island, the largest sand island in the whole world, and there's a freshwater lake right in the middle of it. That's kind of weird.
That's right, yeah, it is very impressive, and it's not the only one. We've got many freshwater lakes on this island. Now, these sorts of lakes are called perched dune lakes, as they are perched up high in a sand dune, nice and simple. But Lake Mackenzie, or Lake Barangora as is traditionally known, is particularly special. It does have beautiful clear water, which is fairly unusual on the island. Most of them are stained a yellowish to a dark red colour, and the clear lakes are quite rare. What we see under the water there is the decomposed vegetation that is keeping the water in the lake, and without that we wouldn't have the water. It would simply soak into the island and join the water table, which is another huge source of fresh water here.
So that's basically how the water stays in this area?
Yeah, that's it. In essence, Jesse, it's just a great big rainwater puddle.
You can't argue with the beauty of this unusual lake, but it's also got a few hidden superpowers.
We do have a low pH balance in the lake. Now, it is very unique. It is about 4 to 4.5, which means not a lot survives in it, very little marine life, very little plant life. But what it does do is make your skin and hair feel very soft after a swim, as they do refer to it as soft water. Because of that, we are very cautious of people introducing things into the water that can affect it. So we don't allow insect repellent, and we try and minimise people using sunscreen, at least using it in a way that is safe for the lake. So putting it on a good 15 minutes before you swim, that way it soaks into your skin, doesn't wash off in the water, and does you a lot more good and does the lake a lot more good too.
You're making me very excited. I can't wait to go for a dip.
Oh mate, you're going to enjoy it, but be prepared, it's fresh.
A bit fresh. This is, without doubt, the best rainwater puddle we've ever played in. Coming up, we meet up with Ranger Annie for the next leg of the journey. And the walk to this lake is most definitely a journey. We are travelling around Fraser Island, discovering the secrets behind its freshwater lakes. Next stop, Lake Wabi. And the car will only take us so far. To get to this marvel, you've got to hike in. Luckily, Ranger Annie knows these dunes like the back of her hand. Ranger Annie, it was a tough walk getting in here because of all the sand, but we actually do love the sand, because without it we wouldn't have this beautiful lake right in front of us.
I know, this is really showing you this is a sand island, isn't it? This is an amazing lake, Lake Wabi. This is actually a window lake, and what a window lake means, it's sitting at sea level. It is actually fresh water. It's coming from a spring from the water table under the island called an aquifer. Now that water table under Fraser Island is 30 times the size of Sydney Harbour. Wow. And it's actually coming up through and giving us this fresh water that we have here. But apart from that, it's not just a window lake, it's called a barrage lake. Now what barrage means is that many thousands of years ago, this lake was a river. Came from the spring, it ran out into the ocean, and over time this sand has built up and blocked the path of that river, forming this lake. So another name, if you're not familiar with the word barrage, a weir. So it's like a weir, it's blocked that path. It is the only barrage lake on Fraser Island.
And each year, it's encroaching more and more on lake lake, isn't it?
You saw how big that sand dune was that we've just walked over. If they're saying every year it's moving a metre and drowning this lake.
And literally, even as we're sitting here now, you can see the sand creeping in, can't you?
It is. It's moving down past us right now.
And in our eyes as well. We love it.
That was good timing.
We
that
love
was really
it.
good.
Lake Wabi may be shrinking, but it's still the deepest lake on Fraser Island.
It gets quite deep. It gets down to 13 metres in depth, 12 to 13 metres in depth, and it is a lot colder than Lake Mackenzie.
I was just about to say, it feels a lot colder as soon as you step in the water.
Yeah, because that's not as deep. So the deeper you get, the colder the water can get as well.
So they obviously differ in temperature, and obviously differ in the animals that are here as well, because Lake Mackenzie doesn't have any fish, as we know, and this actually does have fish.
Yes, yep.
Because we're getting a bit of beauty treatment right now.
Actually, we've got little guppy fish that are just nibbling on and exfoliating our feet right now.
And the fact that we are here right now is so special, because in 100 years we actually don't know whether this beautiful lake will be here.
That's a part of Fraser Island that keeps evolving and moving, and who knows if in 100 years' time this is filled in. We won't be here to see that, but who knows what's going to evolve in the future for this island.
Let's just enjoy the exfoliation right now.
Okay.